Okay, real quick, Johnny. I need you
that
to
was the
tell me
racing one.
what color your tank top is right now.
It is blue.
Okay, yeah! I'm not blind, yeah! Fuck you, color blindness! Fuck you! Hey, welcome back to Anime Casuals. I'm Lucky.
Here I go! This hand of mine is burning red!
And I'm Michael. Realize the only ones who should kill are those who are prepared to be killed.
Johnny.
Your darkness swallowed up my son? Who decided that?
Erupting! Burning!
Now all of you.
Die.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Anime Casuals. I'm Lucky.
I'm Michael.
I'm Johnny.
And we are all Anime Casuals. Even you guys out there, you guys watching this. You guys are Anime Casuals too. Welcome. So, or listening to this on Spotify and wherever else podcasts may be sold. Be listened to. Ruin that pitch. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about some nominations for, best anime of 2020. Also some recommendations for y'all. Maybe you may have missed some of these. Actually, when I was viewing a bunch of the anime from 2020, I was like, I missed a lot. I missed a lot this year, and so maybe something flew under your radar. We maybe got you, or we'll probably just be reiterating what you're already thinking in your head. But yeah, Michael, why don't you go ahead and start off with we'll start off with you.
So I'll first of all say it's wonderful to be under this bus. I like being under buses, and when they roll over me slowly, driven by my friends, it just makes me happy.
The wheels on the bus.
They go round and round over my guts. So we're gonna give out my nominations first. I'm gonna go through some of them. I don't want to go like, here's a list of 15 things that I thought was really cool. I do have a list over here, but we're gonna target some like top tier of my list. So numero uno on the list in no particular order, we have Japan Sinks 2020. This was, it was fire. It was so good. People dying left and right. And, if I was by myself, I'd probably be crying, but I watch it with friends, so I'm going to be like, okay, I cry on the inside. And real quick, it's just about eruptions or earthquakes that are going through Japan that causes the whole island to sink, and then so on and so forth. People try to escape, and people die on the way. And I will say it's so good. Mm-hmm. It takes you through like so many emotions. It takes you through just the adventure of this family through Japan itself, and I could not recommend it strong enough. I'm going to take this and I'm going to pass it to my left, and we're just going to do one each, and we'll come back in circles.
Okay. One that I actually really enjoyed this year, which I didn't realize it came out this year. For some reason, I thought it came out last year. And actually, I realized there's a lot of anime that I started and didn't finish, which was upsetting. Kind of in the same vein of how you missed a bunch of anime, Lucky. So I have a lot of anime to get to. But my first recommendation is probably going to be Dorohedoro. I enjoyed it. It was such a wild ride, and it gives you so many questions and like WTF moments. It's just so fun, and the animation is pretty awesome too. It adds I don't know if I want to say a sense of realism to it almost, but it definitely gives it a depth, is what I'll say. Mm-hmm. And it's just a strange world with very simple desires and devices. And it's Dorohedoro. It was a fun ride. Yeah.
If you've been on Netflix, you've probably seen a giant lizard man biting the face off of some person. That's Dorohedoro.
Yeah, don't change it. Go to it.
Let it accept you. Accept it. Hug each other.
You gotta get in the lizard mouth.
Yeah, in the lizard mouth.
Trust me, it's fine.
That was one that flew under my radar. I would have to say, so this one is a little bit of a cheat. It's actually an OVA, but it's Oreski. Are you the one who loves me? And right, I have to admit, So we had been waiting for this OVA roughly about a year. I think it came out in 2019 originally, and then this OVA came out. And oh my god, the OVA was everything I could have asked for. Didn't try and drag everything out in one season. They literally just were like, "Hey, we already know that we're almost at the end of this thing, but we need a little bit more time. If you can just wait for us, we'll give you like an hour and a half of everything that you love." Oh my god, it totally did. It gave me everything that I loved and more. I mean, it was amazing, and I was really surprised that they fit everything in there. If you guys are into harem anime, and even if you're not, if you this is one of those really self-aware animes. It's just like, yeah, it's just super funny, and yeah, that would definitely be one of mine. It's kind of cheating because you'd have to watch the whole first season to get to it, but it is still a great watch. So that's one of the other ones.
Sweet.
Piggyback, sorry. I actually really like that it finished off the story. I think that was my biggest thing with that I really enjoyed, because it kind of leaves off just kind of like, what? No ending. So it was nice to see that, because I know there's a couple anime that sometimes do that, and I'm like, why don't they just all do OVAs to just kind of end it off? Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it was also stellar. I mean, I wish more anime just was like, hey, let's do a movie at the end of this. Why not? We'll just encapsulate everything you like. I mean, No Game, No Life.
Game.
They did a movie, but they should have given me a movie after everything. But that's not in 2020. I can't talk about that. I already went on a rant several times during our mini podcasts. My second, not second rank, but my second recommendation would have to be Gleipnir. Gleipnir was an incredibly weird anime, even when we watched like the teaser or the trailer that came out for it, which was like, there's a dude, he turns into a mascot man with a gun, and then there's this goopy lady, this goopy girl who like does stuff, and then there's a bunch of monsters. And I was like, what's going on? But once you actually get in the story of Gleipnir, you see it's like everybody has their own story and their own background. And over the course of this first season, we kind of dig into several characters' story arcs and kind of how tragic everybody who's been involved with this whole process, coin process, without spoiling too much of it, how kind of dark and tragic the whole thing is. Yeah, but like I'm like showing you the tip of the iceberg. There's actually a whole like giant amount of story down here that like when you get to by episode like 4 or 5, you're like, what? Where's all this story come from? Oh my god, I gotta dodge it. But you start absorbing all of it at quite a rapid pace. And it's got some cool fights in it, got some cool transformation sequences, and overall, it's a really interesting story. I would highly recommend it, at least for the weird transitions between the fan service and the cool dark action parts. Like, there's a weird, like, simultaneous amazingness of where it goes, and she's naked and climbing into him. Oh, well, that's nice. And then there's like, oh my god, they're shooting people with guns that might not deserve it. Like, this is, and they killed that person. What's going on?
It's a crazy blend.
Yeah, it's a really crazy blend.
Best quote of 2020. I think I pissed myself when I was inside of you. That is one of the best. That is one of the best things I've ever heard in my whole life, and it will continue to haunt my dreams. So yeah.
Yeah. So I would definitely recommend that. Strong recommendation to watch it. You.
Me. So my next recommendation, or not recommend, you did it, now I'm doing it. My next nomination.
Oh, that's true. I should, hold on, rewind. Nomination for me. Let me take out a recommendation. Whoop. Nomination.
So Monster Girl Doctor.
You got hard into that.
Yeah, man. You know, I did an intro and jump skip. Monster Girl Doctor was really awesome. I started watching it, or was interested in watching it, because of Monster Masune, which is super fan service, but it's amazing. I'll just leave it at that. Monster Girl Doctor, though, like we were talking about, or like you were talking about with the blend, it kind of does the same thing of fan service and also, I don't know, I don't want to say
actual
educational. Yeah, I guess so.
You learn about taking
slice
care
of
of
life,
Monster
maybe?
Girl
I don't know.
doctors.
Yeah.
Slice of life is probably what it is.
You know, just seeing like the life of a doctor and how that would work in a monster setting, monster world setting. And it was really interesting. I stopped watching it for the fan service. I still liked it, but it more became seeing him interact with his patients and seeing how, you know, there's all these different problems and seeing how he would deal with them. It became just very interesting. So yeah, Monster Girl Doctor.
Yeah, I will say one additional thing to that. If you watch Monster Musume, it's actually based on a really, really long running manga series. I think it has like 800 chapters or something of Monster Musume. And it's kind of a romance anime when you get into it. It's super like softcore, almost hentai anime. But the best thing about Monster Girl Doctor, to kind of cover it, is that it gives you that, but also gives you like substance. And not to say that Monster Musume didn't, because it was really fun. It's funny, but there wasn't as much, like there wasn't an underlying story there, except for like the weird conflict that people were having by basically being, it's not racist because they're a different species, but you know, they're being prejudiced against these monster people. And like, it kind of gets into that, is that like normal people look at these monsters and go, whoa, you're disgusting. Like, why are you here? Like, go back to your snake country and go over there. And so Monster Musume kind of dabbles in that, but then it goes back to harem, like fan service anime. While Monster Girl Doctor kind of gets in the nitty gritty about, you know, difficulties that each species has to go through in their life, kind of the interactivity of this world, and kind of the history of where the city that he takes place, where it came from. So it does a lot of like odd deep dives for being kind of a fan servicey anime / harem, because everybody wants to get that doctor.
Yes, I do. Gren Sensei. Also, that guy's gotta have like the worst harem I've ever seen. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. They're kind of like, they have cute features, but I mean, they could all kill him in a
I was
matter
gonna say
of
they'd rip
seconds.
him apart.
They could, yeah, and that arachnid girl definitely wants to. But yeah, my other one is another kind of a cheating one, in the sense that it came out in 2020 on Netflix, but it was originally aired in Japan in 2019. So I'm kind of cheating here, but
Boo!
you won't boo when I say what it is. Beastars. It was
Unboo!
yeah, unboo.
Strong to my resolve. Boo!
I feel like you
Secretly
guys.
liking
I feel like you guys did the Goku thing where he's like, I want somebody that's powerful as Majin Buu, but I don't want Majin Buu. I'll call him Oob. Oh man. But yeah, Beastars for me. First off, the intro is tremendous. I watched like a live session of that. It is great, and there's so many people that have to be in that to do it. And also the animation, the stop style or the stop motion is just it is, oh my god, it is just so great. And
A lot of work in that opener.
yeah, and it is they're gonna have to step up for the second season, bro. If they do what Attack on
Give me
Titan
that
did this
same
season,
thing.
they're gonna disappoint me. But yeah, yeah, it was just such a tremendous. First off, you know, we have if you thought racism was hard to get around, imagine all the different species that are in one thing. Like, yeah, this guy's a dog, but this guy's a wolf, and then you have a bear over here, and then you have a polar bear, then you have a tiger that's kind of different, but then it's like, oh my god, like, jeez Louise,
Don't get
man.
started on the panda.
Yeah, seriously. So, there's a lot of really cool stuff, and I was really surprised at how they navigated that kind of not, I don't want to say tender subject, but how they kind of navigated that. And also there's just different dynamics, right? Like, it's literally, you take the whole animal kingdom of like that are usually in this wild space where they can kind of free roam into a civilized society, and it really does get interesting, because you're starting to realize, like, oh man, that's basically what we did. We were animals in a wild
We're
society,
still
and
animals.
then we just ended up making a society around us. And even though we're pretty smart, we also have these primal instincts that take over sometimes, and seeing animals do that is very interesting. And just the duality between their intellectual side and their beast side is really cool to watch. So yeah, Beastars, like I said, it came out in 2019 in Japan, but we're in America, so 2020.
And they keep it pretty simple. It's an adult version of Zootopia. Like, I feel like Beastars is a more accurate retelling of what it would be like if animals, or if people were just animals, like all species of humanoid animals. Very true. And kind of following that, I think I have one more after this that I think is worthy for top anime of 2020. But following in Lucky's footsteps, I have a BNA. BNA, Brand New Animal, is very similar concept, except that instead of everybody in the world being a humanoid beast, there are humanoid beasts that exist in human lineage, but they are shoved all to one city because racism, species, prejudice is all over the place, and people are like, get these beast people out of here. They're infectious. They're turning everybody else into beast people. When the weird reasoning for it is just like, oh yeah, there's beasts and then there's people, and they were kind of in the same line, and then they split back off. Kind of like the weird Fire Force / not the Fire Force movie, the movie that was kind of like Fire Force.
Oh, I know what it is. I just don't remember what it's called.
It was kind of very similar to that idea. It's another Trigger. Weirdly, we're talking about Trigger right now. So BNA is a Trigger anime where we have our main character was transformed into a beast. It's like within like 2 episodes they talk about that. Sorry for spoilers. And she's a cool raccoon girl, and it all takes place of her trying to figure out how to turn back into Promare.
Yeah.
Kind of like Promare, I think, is the same thing where like there's ancestry that descended into these people, and now they have fire powers. So our main girl is trying to figure out how to turn back into a human, and she goes to this Zootopia-like city and she starts interacting with all these interesting beast people who can, unlike Zootopia, transform from humanoid form to full-on beast form. And they have like kind of a weird mix between those. So they can like turn on and off looking human and then looking beast, which I thought was really cool. And then there's all the kind of fun city stuff. Like there's a thief who steals their stuff in like the first episode. Mm-hmm. There's a kick-ass wolf man who looks awesome and is awesome. There's cool fight scenes, and the general storyline of BNA is really fun because they dig into the normal like Trigger stuff where it's like, and you thought we stopped there. Let's add 10 more levels on top of this story. And you're like, I didn't even see that coming, but I'm cool with it. And so it's a fun watch, kind of a different direction of Zootopia and Beastars, kind of just telling kind of a mixed story and kind of growing to accept yourself. Take that, Johnny.
You know, because of that, I'm going to steal one of yours. So, because I think we both kind of learned this. Yeah, see, he gets it. Steal. Creepy hand. Okay. So, it's going to be Great Pretender. Because I didn't actually realize it came out apparently this year.
Yeah, 2 seasons.
There was another one. I thought it just missed the mark, but that's awesome. Great Pretender. We actually have a video that came out recently, or it will come out. I don't know.
Hold on.
Necessarily.
Plug. There we go.
I don't know. There you go. And that was a incredibly fun anime. As we say in the video, there's a lot of great plot moments where they, bring a heist to an anime format, which looks just amazing. Great character development. The music, or I guess the soundtrack in that anime is also really solid. It creates the scene very well, and it makes the opener and the closer incredibly unique and fun every time you get to see it. So, Great Pretender, that's another nomination for you. Do it.
And a special secret, if you get through both seasons, they tackle subjects that you wouldn't expect to find in anime. I didn't expect to be dealing with the subjects that they're talking about, and then they started talking about them, and I was like, wow, that's some dark stuff. I didn't know we were going to tackle that today.
Season 2 gets a little intense.
Yeah.
Mr.
Nua, do you have one last or a couple more for us?
I definitely wanted to mention this one. So by the way, I do realize that we haven't really talked about like some of the bigger ones. I think My Hero Academia season 4 came out earlier this year, and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to put those out there that they are in our knowledge bank, but we're really,
Always,
you know,
always in our hearts.
but yeah, always in our hearts. But this one is, oh my god, it was. I have to admit, this was one of those seasons that definitely either outdid or did slightly better than the first season, which was Kaguya-sama Love is War season 2, and I was super impressed with it. Um, First off, I mean, I was just super impressed that they were able to kind of incorporate more of the more characters. It seemed like they were going to stay around like 4 characters. I mean, I know that that it eventually got to 4 by the end of the first season, but with some side characters like those 2 that are dating and always doing stupid stuff, asking the stupidest people for advice. So it. But once they started branching out, they got the underclassmen involved, and they start. Dude, my boy, freaking what's his name, Ishigami, the guy with the hair right in front of his eyes. He
Yeah.
gets his own storyline. I mean, wow, you start to realize that like everybody has a really cool backstory, and it's really awesome. I'm assuming at some point we'll probably get a Chica one, like a little bit more of one, where it's just like, oh, she's actually really happy for a depressing reason, or something like that. Who knows?
Oh.
But yeah,
Hey,
you
hey.
monsters.
I wish I didn't.
Stop
Yeah,
that.
you monsters. What's wrong with you? Come on. But yeah, Kaguya-sama.
All this violent anime.
That's why she was dancing in that episode.
Yeah, exactly. I'm depressed.
Dance the sad away.
But yeah, Kaguya-sama. If you haven't watched it, it is a little confusing because
Shame on you.
I think one season is on VRV, but the other season is on Funimation, so it is a little hard to get to. But if you just read a synopsis or of the first one, and then you go to the second one if you have Funimation or if you watch the first season. But the second season was absolutely fire, and I loved it. So yeah, that would be mine.
I'm gonna say a nice final round if you have any more recommendations, and then we can kind of get into Lucky already covered one, but I was gonna say your top season 2 pick, because obviously I feel like every season 2 that came out this year was fire. Like all of them are super good. Because if you don't know, also season 2 of Baki came out this year as well. There's a bunch of them, and all of them were super good. So in the back of your brain, pick one season 2 that you thought was fire, maybe like top of the list for season 2, because there's just so many new anime that came out this year as well. So my last pick, I will admit, probably one of my favorite anime this whole year, and I wish I could watch like another 24 episodes of it like right now, was Keep Your Hands Off Isaacin. This is one of the most creative projects for an anime I've ever seen. And not because of the storyline was particularly interesting or overdone, but because of the way they animated just girls who are artists and are trying to make an anime on their own, and the way they imagine it in an imaginative world of drawing and creating ideas together was just like, it blew my mind every time I watched an episode and they're like, okay, what do we want as our vehicle for our main character? Okay, well, we got this like plane-like thing, and well, let's base it on the dragonfly. It's got like multiple wings that are flapping alternatively, and then they think about how it takes off and how it's powered, and that there's like 2 emergency hatches on the back that you can get into, and like that it can't just take off. It needs like a slingshot effect to shoot it off in the air. And then you see like different animation styles where one of them is creating objects and putting that over the backgrounds of the other person, who is excellent at making backgrounds. And they use tracing paper. And like there's so many amazing little details in Keep Your Hands Off Isaacin that it's just amazing. And then you put the story in there that's kind of like if you took the school from like Kill la Kill, because it's an odd school, to be honest. And then like based it down a little bit where fights aren't a thing. It's like clubs, because this school has like 1,000 clubs and they're all vying for money. And it's just a great overall run, to be honest, because the characters are adorable. They have a little mini backstory to them while we're going through. And then the anime that they actually make in it, I want to watch it. I want a full-blown movie or like a 20-minute short of what they create in the anime itself. Aliens and underwater people, a little tank animation, and every time the people who are watching are like, I'm in the anime. The anime is around me. And you see like the characters like explode past them, and it's just a very unique way to tell the story. So if you are still a child at heart, I think it's perfect to watch because it shows imagination in such a creative way.
Definitely a solid anime.
Yeah,
It's definitely not plot driven, I would say, because
No.
the plot is actually really simple, but you don't watch it for the plot.
Mm-mm.
And actually, that was one of the first anime, or maybe not first, but one of the few anime that made me really impatient because I'd be like, okay, enough plot. Let's get to crazy animation that they always do. So, I mean, it's the details that are really insane. Yeah. So, yeah, I would recommend that. Yeah. Recommend nomination then.
I would nominate it for a recommendation from you.
Man, there you go. What about you, Johnny? Anything else before we get into the season 2s?
Into the season 2s? Oh, I was ready for that actually.
Okay,
yeah. I mean, if you've got no more, that's fine.
Go for it. Go for it.
I'm
Let's
kinda good.
start the season 2.
I'm probably gonna steal someone's.
Well, that's okay because we're gonna arrest you after this episode.
It's Fire Force for me. It was real close. I was looking at My Hero as well, and that was also a really good season. But I think Fire Force might have just tipped it a little bit further for me. I really enjoyed Fire Force this season, and it showcased a lot of good characters and answered as many questions as it still proposed and confused me with. Juggernaut's great. Anyway, that's what I'll say about season 2.
Johnny, he took my pick. Yeah. I'll tell you his address after this. I'm recording right now.
I gotta go.
So, yeah. 911, get down on the floor. Well,
it's the Texas police.
I mean, you guys can have the same pick, too. I mean, I don't think that's a big deal.
Well, no. Actually, it wasn't actually my pick, but technically my pick isn't complete, and I'm pretty sure it's your pick, Michael, because it's Ray Zero. It has to be. Just because, I mean, even though it's kind of a half a season, I get that. But that half a season was, holy crap! It literally did not take its foot off the gas pedal. It was just like
that peak.
Yeah, it kind of was like, okay, let's see how fast we can get to. All right, we're gonna go till the gas runs out, and they they went till the gas ran out, and
put this brick there.
Yeah, they were just like, all right, we went a little too hard. Let's not give them the whole season. We gotta take a break, and we'll come back. But so far from what I've seen, I mean, I just can't imagine it getting any worse than this, right? You know, because it was so good that it's amping up, and it did a really good job of just amping us up for the next part of the season. And even though it was just one part of the season, they introduced a whole lot that we still kind of need to digest anyway. So I'm not super mad at the fact that it just kind of stopped right there, right? Because there were just so many new characters that we'd never met before. There was just so many new things that we hadn't really thought about before. A lot of new reveals, a lot of new crazy theories that I had to come up with. You know, it was there was a lot that they did in that, and I just was blown every single time. Like if there was, you know, because I've been kind of lazy on my anime nowadays, but every time Ray Zero came out, I had to watch it, and I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. I was just like, all right, I'm eating my one meal a day, and I'm watching it. I'm eating it to this. So yeah, I'd have to say Ray Zero for me.
Now, Lucky, that was pretty close. Yeah, you might have. I was actually worried about Johnny stealing. I mean, there have been amazing season 2s. I'll just call out some, like we had Food Wars along with the ones we've said. Golden Kamui might have been my pick, but it's not. It hasn't fully. I haven't fully swung into the story yet, so it hasn't roped me up. It still is funny and memorable as every episode is.
There's not enough episodes even out for it, right?
Exactly, and I was gonna say Attack on Titan might have taken the cake,
honorable mention.
but I feel like Attack on Titan is a 2021 anime at this point.
Same.
Like the 2 episodes are out already. I'm like, oh, okay, guys,
they're crazy.
Yeah,
it's not to judge on.
Kaguya, Baki. There's a bunch of them, but I think I gotta take the one that Johnny didn't take because I was gonna be upset if he took it. Would be My Hero. I remember from any season that I've watched so far, even Fire Force, which has been exploding my brain with fire, that the last 3 or 4 episodes were some of the best fight animation, story-driven arcs. Like, everything about it destroyed me for how good it was. And I think the biggest reason why I have to bring this back up in my brain is that it's been so long since I've seen it, but it's still so fresh. I mean, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. What are you doing? Like the whole future sight, the whole like fight between him and was it Chiaki or the head of the like mafia?
I was gonna say, were you talking about the mafia dude or the
the mafia
rubber
dude
guy?
I think it's Chisaki. Yeah.
Chisaki. So close. I'm always so close with names. Just get them
Overhaul,
all.
whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, overhaul. There we go. The way the emotional impact between Overhaul's fight and Deku's ability to change the future, and the beautiful moment of that we saw, like almost a full powered up Deku being rewinded through time while fighting Overhaul. Like every moment of that multiple episode infiltration into their hideout like rocked me. And when I was watching the last 2 episodes in the fight, I got like chills that ran up my arms. And then we had like the fun little side thing with the thief and his little friend, and like how much of a side story that was, but it was still so emotionally impactful.
Gentle.
Yeah, gentlemen. Yeah, and I was like, "What? This is such a side thing, but how is you? What is going on? It's just so good." And then the music at the end, I was just like, it was too much for one season, to be honest.
Mhm.
And that it was just crazy. So I gotta put My Hero up there. I know I talked forever about that already, but it was amazing.
I should also point out for people that are a little confused, it wasn't season 2 of My Hero, that was season like 4, but it is
Season
like
4, sorry.
yeah. But yeah, no, it just for anybody that hasn't seen it. But
Golden Kamui is also on season 3. So.
but
Seasons of 2020.
yeah,
The next
season.
next seasons
You
in this
heard
20.
us wrong. That's
You
what we
get
said.
what we're trying to say.
Yeah, the next seasons.
But yeah, I still remember. I think I went like super deep dive into the girl that sang that song for My Hero, and like she put like literally on her Twitter right before that episode came out, like, I'm gonna go record for a Japanese studio. I can't wait for you guys to see it. And literally like one of the top comments is like, if this is she didn't even say My Hero. It's like, if this is Boku no Hero Academia, I'm gonna cry. And it's just like, and it was totally that. But yeah, that must have been a crazy gig. But so those are our recommendations slash nominations slash whatever you want to call them for 2020. If you guys have any other ones that you think that we should have mentioned, obviously there's some obvious ones that we could have gone over, but we don't do that
Maybe
here.
got a high school, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we totally missed that one, even though we did say that right before we recorded. But since there's just so many out there, why don't you guys let us know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on if you're listening to this on podcast, wherever podcasts may be distributed, then you can check us out on YouTube at Anime Casuals, not the Anime Casuals, just Anime Casuals. And speaking of casual, don't forget to keep it casual.